Hey everyone, Aaron Stewart from the Little Black Couch. I went live on here earlier, but for a different company. So I apologize for any that happened to see it. Fortunately, this is a pretty new Facebook page and a pretty new little concept. So I'm doubting anybody saw it, but just in case, I apologize. Welcome to the Little Black Couch. Today I wanted to talk about formal education. In entrepreneurship, there's a lot who question whether it's important or not. And in fact, some of the circles I now find myself within, formal education takes it on the chin quite a bit and rarely defends itself. So I wanted to jump into that from the comforts of the Little Black Couch. And I am also premiering the new intro and outro video for the Little Black Couch that I had done from a very talented individual in Pakistan, which turned out to be a lot of fun to put together. So we're going to run that now, and then we'll come back and continue the live, and let me know what you thought of it. So here it comes. There it was. Hey. All right. Anyway, that was fun. That was good. That was good to do. So, enjoyed that immensely. So, formal education. Let me know what you thought of the new little intro video. I liked it. I thought it was good. So, unless there's a huge problem with it and it offends some sort of weird, obscure corner of the galaxy, we'll just kind of go with it. It was way better than anything I could have done. And anyway, it's awesome. Just got it done over the weekend and fun. So, yeah, so I wanted to jump into this idea of formal education. There's been a lot of people who I respect dearly in this community, the online community, ClickFunnels, SEO, really anywhere online that you go. You've got a lot of folks that have been very, very successful without a formal education. And by formal, I mean a college education, a graduate degree, whatever it is, but there's definitely been examples of those that didn't finish their schoolwork and have been successful. And so somehow or another, I don't know, it's a very interesting place to be. At least online, there seems to be a great deal of pushback. Now, don't get me wrong, I understand that there is great problems in the public education system. As many of you know or don't know, I did attend a public elementary school. I did attend a public high school. I then went on to a public university and then attended a private graduate school, which is now part of a public, as part of the ASU, Arizona State Universities, go Devils. And then I went out and got a doctorate in organizations and management and studied entrepreneurship in my dissertation. So I have had quite a bit of education, both public and private, and I understand that there are concerns there. And I'm not going to pretend that there isn't. The educational system in this country is not perfect. It has a lot of flaws. I believe that it is going in the wrong direction right now. That the other in the world of academia, where I consider myself to be one with a doctorate, I think that we've got a lot of weird stuff going on. And we are not doing our children any favors by what we have decided to teach as truth, which is absolutely not truth, okay? So all that being said, I just wanted to throw that out, and now let's talk about online. Let's talk about entrepreneurship. Let's talk about that side of it, and if it is helpful or not. Well, in my dissertation, in my little field of study, we actually studied the effects of formal education on an individual's entrepreneurial perception to see if it had any sort of positive correlation in that perception. And it did. and it had more of a positive correlation in third world countries than it did in industrialized countries. Okay, so what does this tell us? It tells us that if we are going to continue to raise the living conditions around the world and encourage people to work themselves out of some very horrible situations. I have traveled through Pakistan. I have traveled through Dakar, Senegal. I have seen some of the worst, and it is frightening. I have been through the Philippines with my wife, and we were horrified at some of the living conditions there. Okay, so I get it. I'm not going to pretend. India, yikes, I get it. Romania, some parts, frightening, at least especially when the Iron Curtain just came down. But I'm just saying, there are problems out there. But there are ways that we can use education to encourage individuals to pull themselves out and look for entrepreneurial opportunities and make themselves better. My father has, for years, been working with an organization that helps little small countries, little small cities or towns in South America, and now they've moved into India, where they loan out these microloans and then help individuals by training them how to start a business and then pay back the loan and then help others do better as well. And it's just a really cool system. The world is getting better much faster than most of the media will share with us. Okay? And a lot of this has to go, and a lot of this is because of education. Plain and simple. So I think we do ourselves a disservice sometimes when we talk about education being anything other than, it has its negative sides, sure, but it can be very positive, especially in entrepreneurship. For those of you who like to dog, I'm going to throw some stones here, who like to dog on formal education and who like to dog on how little you learned while at school, that's on you. Okay? If you didn't learn a lot from college, then you sucked at being a student. Okay? So I just hi Nick, thanks for joining. I just put you right on the broadcast. I didn't even know I could do that. So there you have it. Nick's joined. So that's the problem that I have now. So if you have gone to college and now you have graduated and you come out and you say, you know what, all my professors and everything sucked and I didn't learn anything from college, that's on you. Because you know what, I loved college. Yeah, I had some really bad professors, but you know what, the textbooks were pretty sweet. And I read them. And I love to read them. I love to still read. I love to just consume whatever I can get my hands on. Learning is my favorite hobby. More than golf, more than anything else, I have found out that I get excited about something when it's new, when I get to learn about it. So whether that's new technology, like this Ecamm Live that one Nick Fitzgerald shared with me, it's awesome. I love getting to use this. I love being able, look, I can turn it off and I can turn it on and then I can throw this one on if I want or not. I can take I love being able to broadcast live and do something cool. And when I saw Nick doing it on his broadcast, I was like, dude, you've got to tell me how you do that. And I love it. I think it's fantastic. I like to learn. And that is the difference. If you go to school and you don't get anything out of school, that's on you. I loved school. And if you weren't able to learn proper marketing techniques or anything in entrepreneurship or anything online or that's on you. School is fantastic. I loved graduate school. I loved learning I went to an international business school and I learned a lot about international cultures. I met a lot of people from different, and that's part of it too, the socialization. I mean, getting to go around and meet and talk to people from China and from Pakistan and from Turkey. I had a great friend from Turkey and get to learn about how he grew up. That happened at school. It was the coolest thing. And their lives are so different from ours. It was beautiful. I loved it. I loved the different accents. I loved the different foods. I loved the different ways they were raised. I loved the different religions, the cultures, all of that. It was such a rich experience. I went to a little school called Thunderbird, and they just brought in students from all over the world. and taught them international business. We learned languages. We had cultural classes. It was fascinating. How can you not love that? How can you dog on school for providing that opportunity? It's just awesome. And so I want to stand up a little bit and say, look, if you went to school and you didn't get anything out of it, then you're not saying a whole lot about yourself right now, you know? That's all I'm saying. Okay. Now, when I just wanted to touch on this really quickly. When I went to UNLV. That's where I did my undergraduate degree. And I came out of high school. I think I came out with a 3.7-ish, somewhere in there, A-. I felt pretty confident that I had learned from high school what I needed to learn. And again, I love biology, right? Wow, there's so many cool topics to learn. And from teachers who are interested in that topic well, or passionate about it, and they're sharing their passion. I had an entrepreneurship class where the guy had never been an entrepreneur, but he knew a lot about entrepreneurship, and the book was cool too. I got interested in entrepreneurship, reading books, obviously watched my dad and grandpa, but really it was reading books. I loved it. I loved learning about entrepreneurship. That's why I did my dissertation in entrepreneurship. I wanted to learn more about it. I wanted to learn from all the experts and the academics that went before me and researched entrepreneurship. I wanted to take all their stuff and see if I could add to it. And that's what education and learning is all about, is seeing if we can do a better job than the previous generation of finding new knowledge and truth to share. How is that not exciting? I mean, how is that not cool? Anyway, I was at UNLV, and I was in my first English class, and I turned in a few papers, and my professor, bless his heart, invited me up after class and told me that I sucked at writing. He was pretty frank. I was dumbfounded. I was shocked. I had written papers in high school. I thought I was pretty good. I had passed my spelling tests. I had, I knew what a past participle was. I figured I was okay. No, I sucked. I sucked at writing. And he graciously offered to help me and tutor me through that semester, and he did. So I would turn in my paper, and I would stay after class. He fortunately had lunch right after class, and we would go over my paper, and he helped me immensely. But I was really bad, and I was shocked by it. If you don't take the opportunity to go to school and get told that you suck by a professor who cares, then you've missed out on a big opportunity. I sucked. I was told I sucked, and I did something about it. So I began working with him. I got done. I got through college, and I learned enough, I guess, of writing to get through college and graduate and do well. I went on to graduate school. In graduate school, I had to learn to write in a totally different format, which some people knock on, and I actually didn't really enjoy learning how to write in a whole new different format. I went from APA to MLA, and that was a tough transition, but you make it. Well, I started turning in papers in a writing course that I had, a formal business writing course. Lo and behold, my professor called me up and told me I sucked. Again, I suck at writing. So I went back to work with this person. I actually joined a lab and got some tutors and some folks that were better at writing than I was. And we went to work and learned together. And with this professor, again, amazing that this person didn't have to do this, but cared enough about me and my learning to care and give me some help. And he did. And so I went through and I got better at writing, formal business writing. And now, unfortunately, some of my writing is probably too formal for this modern age, but hey, I'm working on it, right? I'm trying to, we just learned in some recent training that we need to be less formal. Okay, so I'll try to do that. Then I went on to get my doctorate, and when you're getting a doctorate, you write a lot. I had to write tons of stuff. I had to write constantly. You had to write your dissertation, all of this. Well, I went in and got started, and you meet a mentor, and a mentor kind of leads you through and tells you. And my mentor was Dr. Forbes. Yes, that Forbes. And she was awesome. I mean, she was really, really tough on me. So I started turning in some of my papers to her, and you'll never guess. She thought my writing sucked. Again. So here's this wonderful lady, a wonderful mentor. She was very patient with me. She had me join another writing lab where there were some expert writers in there that taught me again how to become a better writer in a completely different way. Because now I went from writing in college a certain way to get through it. Then I went into to get a graduate degree where I had to start writing in formal business language, and I had to start writing in a way that could be easily understood in a multiple of different countries, right? So you had to write very precise and very unemotional, and you couldn't use any slang. And so I went through and learned that and graduated from graduate school. And now I get into working on my doctorate, and now I have to write in a way that's acceptable in the world of academia, which is totally different. And I suck again. But again, this person in this lab helped me again to get me through that. I don't know what I would do if I hadn't learned all that. Other than I tend to cringe a lot when I read people's emails and content online. Woo! Mercy. My professors would have had a heyday with you folks. Anyway, but education is exactly what you take from it. So please, all of you, I know that it's fun to bash on degrees. I know it's fun to bash on college. But you know what? I get why you do it, and I get why you say it. I know that sometimes my children come home and they've been fed things that is inaccurate. But I love the fact that I know enough in my life, and I continue to learn, that I can then sit down with my child and say, you know what? That's their opinion. This is your dad's opinion. And this is why your dad's right and they're wrong. Right? I love the opportunity to do that. I love the opportunity to sit down with my children and be able to speak with them from a very educated place about their homework. I love being able to refute concepts and thoughts and things that their friends tell them and they come home with. I love to be able to sit down with my kids and intelligently talk about what's going on in politics and what's going on in biology and what's going on in literature and what's going on in all these different things that we have the opportunity to learn formally at school. I would not have learned English like I did if I didn't have to graduate from school. I would not have learned about philosophy or sociology or biology or physiology. I would not have gotten into economics. I would have done none of those things if I wasn't required to go to school. The history of this country, the history of this world, all of that, does that help me become a better entrepreneur? I would say, yeah, absolutely. The more education we get, the better we are at entrepreneurship. The more we learn, the better we are. The more we learn, the better well-rounded we are. The more we learn, the more we'll be able to understand what our customers are trying to say. The more we learn, the more we're going to be able to come up with the new ideas that solve problems that nobody else has solved before. The more we learn, the more we'll be able to develop products that our clients tell us they need, but they don't know that they're telling us what they need. That's what learning does for you. It puts you on a plane where you can think through problems more quickly than anybody else. You must practice learning to be good at solving problems. You can do that at school as easier than anywhere else. You can read books, you can listen to lectures, you can go through textbooks, you can do homework, you can do all of that stuff. But whatever we do, we have to always continue to learn. So that is kind of the message today. Oh, hello, Ruth. I just put you up there. I'm just learning this software, so hello, Ruth. Thanks for joining. Anyway, so that's my rant, whatever, for today. Please make education important in your life. And it doesn't matter if you're, right? Consume these babies. Go through them, read them, love them, awesome. Spend time doing it. But formal education gives you the opportunity to do it as well, but in a little more rounded way. Don't just stick in business, your nose in business books. Get out there and learn other things. My wife and I watched a special on PBS last night on Les Mis. It was so fun to sit there and just watch these incredible, talented people perform and to learn more about that production and the history of it and be moved to such emotion by such wonderful, beautiful art. There's so much in this world that we can enjoy and love, and that appreciation comes through learning. So hopefully that makes some sense. It's definitely a way to become a better entrepreneur. We should be learning all we can. And research shows, my own research showed that through education, one's entrepreneurial perception will increase. So keep learning anywhere you can. And don't knock any opportunity to learn. And if you're not learning, it's your fault. It's on you. That's all I got to say. So thanks for listening to us from the comforts of the little black couch. And I'm going to play this fun little intro thing again. And we will talk to you tomorrow about something that's a little more related to entrepreneurship. We're going to get into the differences between goals, tasks, and effort and action. Some fun stuff on that. So until then, thank you for joining me from the little black couch. Good night, friends. Thanks.